There's been a lot of backlash from the president's quotas that he's pushing out, that he wants DHS, ICE agents to round up about 3,000 illegal immigrants daily. And to do that, it appears that they are not just getting the baddest of the bad, according to some of his critics, but potentially going into workplaces in order to swiftly, do and carry out what the president is asking. What do you make of the quotas? Is that putting anybody at risk? Are you behind them?
Well, look, the president campaigned in the idea that when 10 million people come to this country illegally, not only are you going to run up huge costs, but you're going to create chaos. You're going to have people living in shadows and creating all types of devious situations. I think it's embarrassing what this person who was just on your show, Jason Hauser, he was part of the problem. He allowed 10 million people to come to this country, and he simply turned a blind eye to it. And now we're reaping the reality of what happens when people are in a very desperate situation. What we're trying to do in Washington, D.C. right now is clean up the mess. The reason why we reduced the number of border incursions by over 95, some people say 99%. That's a good thing. And we've given the opportunity to people who came here illegally to literally get paid to go back to their country of origin and to move forward. But again, this is a bad situation. We're trying not to make it worse. But when you have chaos in the street, looting, burning, destroying legal businesses, you have to have the government come in and try to create order when the local authorities won't do so. I don't like this situation, but it's a reality of when you have 4 years of lawlessness and turning a blind eye. And these are the consequences. Let's hope that people can come to a logical decision, and our president and the governor of California, let alone the mayor of Los Angeles, can come together and create some civility back in this situation. And that's how you solve problems, as opposed to just saying, get the Trump out of here. And this is why the politics of the day are so bad. When people are seeing the chaos in the street and the governor says, there's nothing to see here. That's just not the facts on the street, and why people are living scared in places like Los Angeles, New York, Philadelphia, where this chaos has been allowed to reign for the last 4 years.
I do think it's safe to surmise that when you hear the tough talk from the administration and you see these tough images, that no doubt it would be a deterrent from illegal immigrants trying to come into this country. And then another goal of the Trump administration is to try to get those living in this country illegally to self-deport so they don't have to deal with all of this. But I want to get your take on this. The Department of Homeland Security spokesperson, one of them, is saying that ICE agents are now facing a 413% increase in assaults against them. How can this country walk the fine line of protecting those who protect the law of the land against this backdrop of all this anger about how everything is being carried out?
Well, you just gave the perfect answer. This is the frustration we're going for. These folks have dedicated their lives to help bring order to our country so the bad guys get behind bars and the good people can walk the streets in safety. And now these people are subjected to all kinds of chaos. You're seeing a lot of politicians gin them up that somehow this is a terrorist state. Again, the constitutional crisis that existed was the last 4 years, where we don't even know where a lot of these people came from. There's no documentation whatsoever. When you and I get on an airplane, they're checking our background, etc. And yet these folks are coming in droves. We don't even know anything about their background. Did they have a problem in their past? This is a country of immigrants. I agree. My father was actually born in Athens, Greece. I believe in legal immigration. But when you have people cutting online for the last 4 years and 10 million people come in, people are going to start doing desperate things because they want the American dream too. We need to have a conversation. What's smart about this president right now is he said he was to secure the border. We've secured the border. We're putting in the funding for it with the big, beautiful bill, as it's called, so that it'll be a long-term solution. And let's hope we can pass some legislation that's common sense. But the first things first. One is the secure border. Second is, when you act like this in the streets of LA or other major cities, there will be consequences. And a lot of these people are going to be deported because they've been physically now harmed. Some of our law enforcement agents were committed to keeping the peace.
Congressman, we're going to continue chatting about the news of the day, but I just want to remind our viewers, if they are just joining us, if you are just joining us, the live pictures you see on your screen here is from our affiliate in Los Angeles. The president has ordered some 2,000 National Guard troops there while we've got this backdrop of the third day of protests that are expected. In the last couple of days, they have turned violent there. The Los Angeles Police Department is saying that they have arrested 27 people yesterday yesterday. Let's move on to this, Congressman, if we can. So Kilmar Abrego Garcia, he is set to appear in court on Friday to face these human smuggling charges that we saw outlined by Attorney General Pam Bondi. Trump says the government has a very easy case against Garcia. Congressman, how will this case impact Trump's deportation efforts, and how do you expect this to pan out on Friday?
Well, it's just simply remarkable how all the effort put out by a lot of our colleagues in the Congress from the other side of the aisle went down to look out after this person's from the Central America who actually beat his own wife. He's got a history of violence. He clearly now, given the charges being filed, is probably involved in human trafficking, which is basically sexual slavery for young boys and girls. And this is their champion. I mean, there are people who have been undercut the last 4 years by violence and other acts. People have been cut in line who want to come to this country legally, and they choose to stand up for this thug. I'm glad to see he'll be prosecuted because he's not a good person. And his own wife, if you listen to some of these phone calls, she was desperate and afraid that her husband might kill her. And yet here they are standing up to him when so many people, as you're seeing right now in L.A., probably are losing their businesses or being injured or are undercutting their basic weekend festivities. And then the basic things of life you try to enjoy because you work hard Monday through Friday. So we need to get some common sense here and stand up for America first. I don't think it's too much to ask to say, if you come to this country, you should be a participant as a person who takes. And if you came here illegally, you're going to face the reality that you broke the law, and you know you did. This isn't some mystery that you came here legally or illegally, and there might be consequences. Just like if I went to another country and broke the law, there are going to be consequences for me as well. It's a pretty common sense thing to do, and I think the president truly believes in this country, and he wants this country to flourish, and it's not going to flourish if we continue to flaunt the law and to allow our own police officers to be assaulted by people who don't share our values or are maybe still loyal to other countries.
We appreciate you taking the time to weigh in on the breaking news that we're watching unfold there in Los Angeles. Florida Republican Congressman Mike Haridopolos. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Anna. Have a great day.
And we're going to talk about this Garcia case even further.